much like most things, anime figures aren't getting any cheaper. Let's see where we could save some money going into the new year. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Droobz Vids and another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a few personal tips and just things I do in general to save a little bit of money, and how I used to save a little bit of money to budget myself better to purchase more figures. You know, add to the collection, get higher end figures and things like that. And going into the new year, by the time you're watching this video, should be New Year's Eve where you're at. Unless you're on the other side of the world and it's New Year. So Happy New Year to you guys over there. But yeah, tonight's New Year's Eve, and this is going to be a talking head video. So just keep that in mind. Put it in the background, whatever you got to do. Just listen to it. But yeah, tonight being New Year's Eve, I just want a quick message out there to everybody. Be responsible and be safe. And speaking of saving a little bit of money, it's always cheaper to grab an Uber home than to risk it and, you know, the circumstances that all comes with. So be responsible out there, guys, and be safe. And see you in the next year. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into a few things that I personally do and some things that I used to do to kind of budget myself better to purchase the amount of figures I want. Because I do often get asked, you know, how do you afford the amount of figures you get? And I do it because I'm able to budget a certain amount of money per month. So, and this video is really not going to be for you if you don't have at least some money for an expendable budget. Like, if you're honestly like not able to keep up with your current bill set and things like that, like if you're struggling to make ends meet, this is not the video for you. So, you know, take care of your priorities first and foremost. You know, pay your electric bill, pay your water bill, all that kind of stuff. Pay your car bill. Don't get repoed. You know, just take care of all the stuff you need to take care of first. You know, food in your mouth, food in your family's mouth, and then revisit this video when you're able to, right? So in no way, shape, or form am I trying to say, hey, this is exactly what you need to do to be able to amass a collection like I have. It's just a few things that have helped me out in the past to get to where I'm at in terms of collection. Like, for instance, I probably got, I can't even count the amount of figures I got, but just anime figures in general, you know, I mean, I was just looking around the room, well over 100, maybe 150, but, and like I said in the beginning of the video, they're not getting any cheaper. So, and I still do some of these things to this day, especially the budgeting part, like the main budgeting part. And what I like to do is actually take a set amount of money every week and set that aside, right? So, for example, if all you could do is take $50 a week, set it to the side, every week in a month you'll have $200, and that'll get you, you know, a really nice scale figure. Get you a few Nendroids, a couple Figmas, a few pop-up parades. You know, not all of those at once, but just an example. That $200 could go a long way. Or you can do what I do, and I have what I consider a pre-order budget, and that money is at $50 that I put away a week, for example, and I'll have that $200 for pre-orders, if that makes sense. So going into it, you really want to have at least this type of budget ready to go. So that's eventually going to be your fallback money in terms of if there's something in stock right now that you want to pick up, you could go get it because you have this little bankroll, right? So if I'm not pre-ordering anything this month, that $200 is going to roll over to the next month, right? And it'll just build up. And when you have that kind of build up happening, that's when you're able to go, you know, check out websites, check out stores, and purchase the in-stock figures that you want. So just keeping that in mind, you know, try to set aside however much you can in terms of your expendable budget per week, and eventually you'll end up with a decent sized budget for all your pre-orders and in-stock items that you want to pick up. And a few other things that I used to do and still do to this day is, just try and save money where I can, in terms of like even grocery shopping. You go out grocery shopping. I know there's some things that you just can't skimp on, right? There's just certain items that you don't want to skimp on. I know a lot of people like, milk, eggs, stuff like that, certain personal care products. So there's just other items like, if you get some small snacks or something, try out the store brand, right? Try out the store brand. And oftentimes I find that the store brand is actually really, really good and comparable to that name brand, and you're paying much less than you're going to pay for the name brand. And, that extra bit of savings, it might not seem like much at first, but, if you're making 2-3 trips to the store a week, and you could save, 15-20 bucks by not getting that name brand and having the equivalent in the store brand. So that 15-20 bucks, that go towards another figure. That'd be, bam presto right there. Boom. In your collection. And all you did was sacrifice the name brand for the store brand, right? So do that. And I think a big thing too is making meals at home. Just not going out to eat all the time, because if you go out fast food restaurants, that gets really expensive, or just even casual eat-in restaurants, that gets expensive. So, you could go spend 10 bucks on a fast food meal, or you could make a meal for 10 bucks that'll last you a few days. So just considering that aspect, I'm not talking about going out and buying a bunch of ramen noodles and just feasting on that. That's for like the hardcore budget. Like, let's say there's a convention coming up and there's going to be a bunch of figures that you want to pick up. I could see that. I've done it before in the past. Don't get me wrong, like, man, ramen noodles go a long way. And I know a lot of people actually do the ramen noodle budget for multiple things, right? Just, it's a great way to, save money and get a meal in, I guess, albeit not the healthiest of meals, but it does save a lot of money. So keep that in mind. If you still want that fast food fix, try to find a cheaper option to, what your favorite is. Like, basically everywhere has a dollar menu now. So explore that. You might be surprised as to what you could get. I know, like, a really popular thing is the Big Mac. Everybody likes a Big Mac. If you go to McDonald's, though, you get you a McDouble, take off the ketchup and mustard, add Mac sauce, and then you got a little Big Mac there for half the price, and you don't got the middle bun and lettuce, but nobody cares about that anyways. So there you go. You're welcome. But that's like, just small things like that, I think, help out quite a bit in saving money towards purchasing more figures. And especially if that's your main goal at the end of the day. Now, some of these things you could take into account for just, I guess, regular budgeting. If you're, trying to buy not just the anime figure, something else, maybe you need a new TV, something like that. There's several areas you could cut back on. And I found that carpooling is really nice. Like, me and Funko Cop will meet up, and since we live, quite a bit apart, like 45 minutes apart, we'll just pile into one car and take that, right? And, you split the gas. Just something like that, for example. You go meet up with your friends, take one car. And that way, you guys are saving, because gas is getting expensive as well. So it just seems like everything's getting expensive. And the next part that really helped me for figures in general is comparing prices online, like when you're trying to buy something. So, and you could use this too for really anything that you're buying online, is look for the item that you want, on multiple websites, and make a comparison. Pull up an Excel sheet, whatever you could do to make the comparison, write it down on a piece of paper to see how much money something's going to cost, and try to include shipping the best you can. I know some websites you have to put the order in to get the shipping quote back, namely import websites like, from Japan and stuff like that. But if you're going to, compare the price, just look for it, and understand that sometimes with figures, you might take a little longer to get the actual order in, like not necessarily if it's in stock shipping from them to you, but for them to actually get that particular item before they could ship it to you. So just keep that in mind. It might take a little bit longer, but you may be saving a lot more money in the long run. For instance, I had a friend looking for a specific Nendoroid, and they found it on AmiAmi, and with the shipping, it was going to be roughly $85 US for the Nendoroid plus the shipping. And this particular figure is on pre-order on several US sites still for right about $55. So immediately right there, just by a quick, comparison, save 30 bucks. And that $30, that could go a long way towards anything, right? It go towards a bill, towards some groceries, towards your gas, whatever it may be, towards another figure. But yeah, so I just think there's just a few things here and there that you could really budget down on, like especially name brand clothing. Do you really need that new pair of Nike shoes, right? Things like that. I know some people may have seen that I have a few different pairs of shoes that are pretty good, but that's all within a certain budget that I have. So you don't have to have the most glamorous job making the most money, as long as you're able to keep up with them bills, like I said earlier, and have an expendable budget still. Use that expendable budget, but also while you're using that expendable budget for these things, try and save money where you can. And that's really the biggest part. Do you need that, brand new TV? Do you need that new computer? It's kind of like that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if you have something that works, there you go. It still works. Do you really need the most up-to-date technology? Now I understand if it's for work or something like that, that makes sense. But keeping up with the Joneses, that's where you really start to lose money, right? Just the kind of status symbols and things like that. That's where that money really starts getting lost. And I guess collecting figures could be perceived as that. However, if it's something, characters you like, figures you like, it becomes a hobby. And that right there, just collecting in general, it's something, right? You could argue that, is that something you really need? No, it's not. It's a luxury, but it's also a hobby for me. So that's why I do it. But yeah, I mean, I guess the kind of thing is just don't have that mindset where, you really need this because it's going to make you look a certain way, right? In other people's eyes. So do it for yourself. Don't do it for other people. I think one of the biggest things in figure related collecting, and it's something that actually I had to get over myself, and it took me a while to do it, was the feeling that one, you're going to miss out on stuff. So, you may miss out on a few figures here and there, but ultimately you're going to get, a lot of what you want anyways. But, getting over that, the fear of missing out, and then getting over the fact that, you feel like you need all of it, right? If that makes sense. If you see an anime or a show you like, and they have the figure and they got a set of figures, 10 different characters, sometimes you just have that feeling that, man, I need to have all 10 of these characters to complete this set. So getting that completionist mentality out the way is really what helped me cut down personally on how much I spend on figures. So just try and think about it that way. Like, you don't need to have everything under the sun. And if you do need everything under the sun, or feel the need to have everything under the sun, and you have the means to do it, one, why are you watching this video? And two, go for it. That's awesome. And I'd love to see your collection. But yeah, just that's the biggest thing, is getting that completionist mentality out the way. Once you do that, man, it's just so much easier to say, hey, I like that figure, I'm gonna get that figure, and I'm gonna get it because I have this budget that I set for myself, and I haven't been buying, 5-10 different characters from one set, and I don't really even like 9 of those characters, but it was part of the set. So that right there, I think, is paramount when you're trying to collect a lot of figures. So yeah, I guess just a few things to think of there in terms of saving some money, kind of budgeting a little bit there, and just overall a few things that, like I said, that helped me out to create this budget, because I have bills, I have a mortgage, I got everything. So these are things that help me budget to be able to continue purchasing these figures. And like I said, figures aren't getting any cheaper, so budgeting now more than ever really helps a lot. So yeah, keep that in mind. And if you guys have any other kind of saving money tips or budgeting tips, drop them down in the comments below. It may help somebody else out there, something I may not have mentioned in this video. And you never know, someone might find your information very helpful in their budgeting need in terms of trying to pick up some more figures. So yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want some more content, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.